Captains, welcome back to another video. We are in the Grand Canyon, and I just wanted to do this quick video just to see the difference, because I'm just about to install MEGAScenery and I wanted to do a flyover. The video on the left here is basically P3D default with the settings tweaked, and that is it. Okay, that's the only thing that's happened. The video on the right is when after we installed ORBX Global, and it changed a few of the files, and I believe we also had installed FS Global by that point as well, so the terrain was defined. So the video on the left is before FS Global, the video on the right is after FS Global, and what we're flying now is terraflora trees has been put in, the weather system has been updated, and that is it, to be honest. So the video on the right and what we're doing should look pretty similar, and I'll be very interested to see how the frames do. The video on the right, by the looks of it, is getting about 26 frames on average. The video on the right is getting 50 frames, and we are getting about 55-60 frames. So we're actually doing better, and we've installed more in. So let's start all these up, and let's head off and see what happens. So I'm just going to pause these for a quick second until we can get up to speed. Past that, there we go. Now we'll be up to speed. So looking at it, there's a different the shaders look different completely as well. I stuck with the tomato shade, which is identical near enough to the video on the right. The video on the left still has the current one. Looks like I was having a bit of problem there. Now, if I can remember correctly, taking off was very tricky, so it's got to be done slowly. Whoop, not like that. So looks like I haven't even taken off on the video on the left. So let's go back up a bit. So the trees are a combination of ORBX and terraflora. The video on the left is P3D's own trees, and the video on the right should have ORBX trees in there, but I think because we'd installed something else, it took the trees off, but by the looks of it, they're back. And by the looks of it, we're doing about the similar frame rates to the video on the right, and by the looks of it, I just crashed and burned on that one. So let's hit that back up to where we are, which is about here. So I think it's time that we do a little turn, because I always went over to the... Oh gosh, we're gonna stall it. Oh dear me. It's really hard to get altitude here. Flaps up, I think, to try and clear these trees. Yeah, I always went over to about, what was it, 30 degrees. Luckily, I am clearing these trees now. Because of the trees are put in, I think everywhere looks a lot better. The weathering system, though, is a lot different to the two videos up top, which are completely controlled by P3D. So clouds weren't were just looks like they were just popped on, and it doesn't really look, for me, as realistic, I think, as the Grand Canyon looks. Yes, there is clouds on the ground at some points of where there is a a valley, but they don't just sit on the ground. That did look a bit unrealistic for me. And plus, in these two videos, there's very little trees, and they're very spotty. Whereas with all the trees added on, it now looks like these green spots become shadows for the trees that have been popped in. Now, frame rate wise, I would have to say that the video on the right is getting a lot better frames. Let's clear off this video here. It's getting a lot better frames than we are. We're getting about 45 on average, whereas I think it's getting about 50 maybe on average, but they're jumping all over the place. They're really changing a lot. There's where we need to head. That's the spot where we went down. I think the world looks a lot better. Adding terraflora trees in makes the world a difference. Adding the weather engines, the Skyforce, the active sky makes a world of difference for realism. I mean, this looks more real than what we're seeing in the window in the video. This in the video looks like FSX. You know, it's a very poor rendition. And yet what we see out the window, I think, is a lot better, you know. And the frame rates for me are acceptable for flying in this condition. I'll be interested to see what the actual valley in here looks like, which we should be approaching soon. Other things now. So when we fly over this the next time, we are going to be looking at the mesh, or the texture rather, that MegaScenery has put in. So these trees might actually vanish when we come back to this area. I've got about 4 different products that I need to install. So I've got to install the 4 states that surround the Grand Canyon, and then on top of that I need to layer in the texturing for the Grand Canyon. There is like a texturing on its own. Now this is going to improve performance because it is just a texture replacement. I'm not sure how it will react with the mesh that's been put down. The mesh is purely FS Global, so, and I don't know how it's going to react with the weathering as well, so we will have to see. But for me, this is good enough. Like, if MegaScenery doesn't perform in the Grand Canyon, I will have to remove it. I don't want it looking like in the video where it looks kind of poor, you know. If it looks like that, then it will get removed, because I am actually really enjoying the look of what we're seeing, and the frame rates are jumping from as low as, I would say, 36 to as high as 79. So totally acceptable, smooth flying. I think also what helps is putting the texturing up to 4K, because the rocks now look a lot better than they did before. The rocks before looked basic colors, you know. Now they look like rock. They actually look really good. And I remember when we flew over here for the very first time, these rocks looked a lot different, and it did not look like this. Even the like there, what we see, completely different, you know, to what we have in that video. And as we come into it here, you can see in the video, it's like all the elements put together don't react as well as they do in our sim. Like our sim, we have weather reacting with haze, reacting with the mesh, reacting with textures, reacting with the sim objects, reacting with cloud textures, and it's like all of them combined actually make it look better, enhance it so much. Whereas in the video, there's not much reacting, there's not much happening, and so it doesn't look as good, it doesn't look as impressive. I'm really interested now to fly this route again. Ooh, bit of turbulence. I'm really interested to fly this route with MegaScenery and to see how it's changed. Really going to be interesting now. So I'm mean, look at that. That's just gorgeous, that is. And you can tell that the details are still being loaded in the sim. You know, it's crispening up still with as we fly through it. So, and it's doing it quite quickly, to be honest. Our mixture control actually working? Yeah, okay. So, that's basically it, I think, for this video. I might just have a quick fly around, get rid of this, like, well, actually I'll keep it there. Frame rates are actually better now than they are in the video. Everything here really is working really well. It looks absolutely gorgeous, you know? And the river as well is as heightened, is really heightened. Whoa, jeez. Okay. It's really heightened, I feel, by the extra little fun things that have been put in. Let's get rid of that video now. We better turn around here. I mean, this is just looking absolutely gorgeous. Could fly around here all day. Really could. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. In the next video, we will be taking MegaScenery, and we will be changing this, and if it doesn't look good, I will be uninstalling the lot. So, thank you for watching, everybody, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care, bye-bye.